everyone, this is Leslie from Just Less Creations. I am so glad that you're tuning in today to watch the Halloween series. In this tutorial we're going to do mummies. Mummies everywhere. Every time you watch your Halloween movies, there's always a mummy lurking in the background somewhere. So today we're going to do two pops. We're going to do a really super easy one where we're just going to dip it in a color. We're going to put candy eyes and some modeling chocolate cloth wraps around them. And then this one here, we're going to go a little deeper for those that want to challenge your creativity and go the next level. We're going to actually create 3D eyes and this orange piece for behind the eyes, and we're just going to step it up a little bit. So let's get started. I have some banana cake that I'm working on for cake pops for the weekend. I have a little bit left that I thought I'd use for this morning. It's a little bit softer than what I like because I put some caramel syrup in it to bring out that flavor of that banana and caramel. So it's a little bit on the softer side, but I'm going to use it because, well, that's what I do. That way I can work through any issues that I might have here so that you guys can see how to salvage if something goes wrong. So we're going to do two of them. It's a little bit on the sticky. That caramel syrup. But boy, I don't know, Jack, can you smell that? It smells amazing.
Yes.
Gosh. It's like banana cake and caramel, warm caramel syrup. Yummy. All right, so we'll do two. We'll put this aside for later. All right, so I'm just going to make a ball. I'm going to squish. Make sure there's no air pockets in there until it all comes together. You'll feel it. And then I'm just going to roll it backwards. I'm not really concerned about making a super round ball because we're going to wrap it in modeling chocolate. We'll just kind of get somewhat of a ball there going. And let's do the other one. All right, and go backwards. All right, grab some sticks here. Now I've got my stick. I've already dipped it in white modeling chocolate, about an inch and a quarter up the stick. I'm going to use green. You can use white melting chocolate. I'm going to use green just to create a little bit of a like the dimension. You can do an all white. So I just pushed it in and I spun it until I felt it firm up, and then I'm going to turn it back a quarter of a turn, and then I'm just going to wipe that excess off. I'll sit it over here, let it set up. Do the same on this. I'm going to spin it as I push it in until I feel it connect, and then I'm going to go back a quarter of a turn. Again, I'm going to take that excess off. All right, so while I let this chocolate set up on the inside of that cake pop, I'm going to make some cloth strips out of modeling chocolate. There's a couple of different ways that I'm going to do it. So first option is I have my extruder. You guys, it's a clay extruder that you can buy. It's about 10 bucks, and it's got this tip on it that has this little 1/8 of an inch rectangular strip. And that's what I'm going to use here on this one. I'm going to show you multiple ways to do the very same thing. So I'm just going to roll out some strips. So this is one way. If you don't have an extruder, I'm going to show you a different way. So I'm just going to roll out a strip. So this is an easy way. It doesn't have to be a certain length. We're just going to wrap it and then wrap some more until we get the desired effect that we want. So here's a clay extruder. It has, if you buy the clay extruder, they have like 3 different sizes of this little rectangular strip. You can pick the one that you want. I just wanted the small one. So this is one way. Another way that we can do the strip is just roll out some modeling chocolate. Here I rolled it out, put it through my pasta maker so that it's all nice and one length. And well, what did I do with my roller? Sorry about that, guys. Had to walk away to grab my roller, which was on the other table. All right, so we can make strips by using a roller. Again, this is an old roller that has these little tick marks on it. I'm just going to create a straight edge along the bottom. And then I'm just going to cut, let's just do 1/4 of an inch on these ones, like so. You can create them as big or as long as you want. Just going to cut a few of them off here. Let's do one more. So that's another way that you can create these little those strips. Hi, Tammy. Cole loves them all. Well, I'm coming down to Carlisle this weekend. He can come get some. I'll have some there. Okay, so we can do that. And there's another way. If you have a pasta maker, I have a KitchenAid over here, and let me just pull out another strip. I already rolled this one out, so I wouldn't have too much time because my machine is so loud. I don't like to do that when I'm on camera. But here I rolled out another strip of modeling chocolate just through the pasta maker. But this time, let me move this out of the way a little bit. Jack, I don't know, can you give me an overhead shot of this? So this, bring it this way.
Yep.
Oh. So this also came with my pasta maker. It's actually, it's a fettuccine. Can you see that there? Oh, wait a minute.
Kinda.
We'll do it that way. This is a fettuccine. It's for my KitchenAid. So, Shaquanda, good morning. This is for my KitchenAid. It makes fettuccine. And, you know, I found that it makes wonderful little strips for mummies. So, I already have my flat sheet of modeling chocolate. So, I'm just going to put it down through. And this is a quick and easy way to do it. Voila. Now we have a whole bunch of little strips. And now we are ready to go with those. So I'm just going to separate them real quick because I don't want them sticking to each other. All right, so now we have a bunch of strips made. So now we can do a whole bunch at the same time. So there's 3 different ways that you can make little strips. Of course, you can also just use, you know, your icing in an icing bag and, you know, go around your cake pops that way if you wish. I just prefer working with the modeling chocolate. I just like the dimension that it gives. All right, so we've got lots of little strips to work with. All right, one other thing. Today on our cake pops, we're going to use these candy eyeballs. I have some green ones left over, so we're going to use these candy eyeballs, but we also can make our own eyeballs. And so I want to make sure that I show you guys different options here. Like for this little guy here, I'm using a white. The white part of his eye is the number 12 Wilton icing tip. And the orange and the black part is, I think it's a 6. Yeah, the number 6. The orange one I popped it out and then I flattened it really good so that way we have that iris part of his eye here. There's another way we can do it, and I probably should have done one of those. These are candy sixlets that you buy. These ones here, and all I did was take a ball tool. I took a ball tool and I indented here and here, nice and deep, so that I could sink those candies down in while the chocolate is wet. So I'm just trying to give you different options that are super simple and super easy, and you can incorporate whatever one you want. So let's go ahead and put this back over. Get it to stay in those little holes. So let me just go ahead and make one set of eyes for you so that you understand. This time I'm going to give him a little blue eyeballs. I already have little pieces cut out so that I can show you how to do it. All right, so we're going to start with the big one. I'm just going to cut one set out. I'll use one with the green candy eyelets that you get in the store. And then I'll use one with these little blue eyes. All right, so where's my tool? It's hiding. All right, so we're going to do black ones, black for the pupils. That one didn't pop the whole way out. Let's try that again. All right, and then we'll get the iris, we'll do a blue. And these are concepts that you can carry over into other projects. It doesn't mean that it's just for this particular one, but it's something that you can use this same principle in any other character that you're working with. All right, so because the black and the blue are the same size, we need to make the blue just a little bit bigger. Let me get some. This is cornstarch. Always keep cornstarch when you're working with chocolate. My hands are a little bit warm, so I want to make sure that the chocolate doesn't stick to my fingers when I flatten this because they're hot. I'm just going to flatten it just like so. Okay, now there's cornstarch on there, and I don't want it to be. I'm just going to use a dry brush. Just remove that cornstarch, like so. Now I'm just going to glue it together. I just have a little bit of water. Just a dot in the middle. That's it. A little bit of water goes a long way. Squished it down too hard. Then I'm just going to drop it on the white. Okay, I'm going to put another dot on the blue. We'll add our pupil in the center. All right, and there we go. Now we have blue eyes. Oops, we'll just put that up there. Okay, we're going to dip one in green. Yeah, that's still liquid enough. And then we'll do one in white. I think maybe we'll do 2 for 1 this morning. That's just the way I roll. All right, I'm going to drop it in. I'm going to pull it back at I'm going to drop it in at a 45. I'm going to pull it back and spin it just so the chocolate hits itself. We want to make sure that the cake pop is completely covered. Then I'm just going to tap off that excess. Make sure that when you are letting the chocolate drip off, you're looking for those air bubbles. We do not want air bubbles. Air bubbles give way to the opportunity for bacteria to grow on your cake pop dough, potentially creating a health hazard for your consumers. Just going to take that excess off the bottom. So while this chocolate is still wet, I'm going to drop these green eyeballs on here. I'm going to drop it. And then I'm just going to push them down in that chocolate just a little bit. Be careful, don't push too hard. You don't want your cake pop to come off. I'll dip the other one in that color. And we'll just do 2 mummies for 1 this morning. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my Just Less Creations YouTube channel, feel free to do so. I did not get a chance to drop a video last week. I totally forgot about it, so I will be dropping 2 this week. And they will be Halloween related. Jack was here last week and we did recording. While this one sets up a little bit, let me grab some orange and I'll show you how to put a strip behind where his eyes are at. All right, so I'm going to take, I have an orange strip already rolled nice and thin. I'm going to put a flat spot along the bottom so I have something to work with. Oops, let's flip it this way. All right, now I'm going to use, let's just cut a little piece here so I have a starting point and an ending point. I'm going to lay a strip here because I'm going to match the width of one of these, like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want a starting and an ending point. I'm going to notch it and notch it. And then in between, I'm just going to go just a little bit above and then bring it down, kind of like our nice little rolling. We're going to put the eyes in that location. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like my one end is thinner, longer than the other side. It doesn't matter because we're going to be covering it with the white anyway. All right, so while this is still wet, I'm just going to wrap it around. And then I'm just going to cut where it overlaps. All right, and now I can go ahead and put my eyes on here. So I'm going to use my blue eyes, there's my paintbrush, in the wide spot. I'm just going to, this also is a great way to make your Ninja Turtles. Oh no. The Ninja Turtle masks. If you have customers that, or kids that really like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is how they do that. Get that chocolate off that. Just like that. All right, so now we're going to let that just kind of set up. All right, and we'll go back to our other one. All right, so we got all these cute little strips. All right, any questions? All right, so when I'm doing strips, now we need something that's going to hold them on since my chocolate is no longer wet. I have one of these little tiny water bottles that I just put water in it, and I'm just going to spritz. You don't need a whole lot, you just need a little, and you don't need it the whole way over it. So I'm going to spritz right down here at the bottom where my stick is at, and then I'm going to spritz once right at the top. I don't want to put it on the candy eyes because the green will start and the black will start leaching everywhere, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to hold it over my sink real quick. I'm going to spray once here at the bottom. I'm going to spray and spin it so it gets the whole way around, and I'm just going to go right down on the top. Oh, I missed the top altogether. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but it's just a little bit of water here and a little bit underneath there. I just want to be able to catch the chocolate. It'll stick to itself once I get it started. All right, so I'm going to start right underneath the eyes, and I'm going to leave a good 1/2 inch out underneath his eyes, and then I'm going to wrap it up around his eyes. I'm going to lift this piece because I want it to actually, I want to surround his eyes first. Let's try that again. Stay there. And then we're just going to wrap. First thing I want to do is wrap around the base. And I'm just going to wrap it. There's no real rhyme or reason. Okay, so there's no water over here. So if it doesn't stick, just add a little bit. There we go. Now we shouldn't have a problem with it. And I always leave the ends out. It just kind of adds that three-dimensional look when it's all said and done. I'm going to start at the base again. This time I'm going to bring it up around the top of the head. And you can put as much or as little as you want on it, just like that. So let's go back to this one and see. The chocolate's not quite firm enough, but I'm going to try to see if I can use that to my advantage. The top is, the bottom is. So I'm just going to spray the top on this one. All right. Now with these, I want to at least take the bottom, get a hold of this, right up against the orange. And then once it gets back to its side, I'm going to bring it up around the top of his eyes, like so. And then back down. And then it's just back to wrapping wherever I want it to go. And I try to make sure that my ends sometimes are going in opposite directions. Let's bring this one so it flaps up this way. And we'll put one more. I need to respray this. Cover the top of his head on this one a little bit more. And I'm just kind of filling in the gap there a little bit. And then end the top over top of his face, like so. Let's add just a little bit of water on this one to make sure it stays. The same thing with this one, so it'll stick to itself. All right, and now the only thing we need to do is put a twinkle in his little eyeball. You can do different kinds of eyes depending on the outcome that you want, the time that you need, how many that you need. Like if I'm doing 100 of them, I don't think I probably would make these cute little eyes like this. But if I'm only making a dozen of them, I absolutely would, because they're super cute. And then that's it. So, okay, so here's an easy one to do with candy eyes and the darker color on the underside. So it's just a dip, candy eyes, and the wrap. And then this one here with the extra orange band that goes around behind his eyes, made the three-dimensional eyes there. And yeah, I put it together. I did 2 of them in 30 minutes, and that's with cutting all the pieces. Remember, when I'm doing it in mass quantities, so I would dip all the colors first, put all the eyes on, let it sit, cut out everything that I need, and then they come together. So you could have a whole bunch done in just an hour. Okay. If you guys make one of these mummy pops, please post pictures in the group so we can celebrate with you your win for stepping outside the box, being creative. I love you guys. Thanks for spending time with me this morning. And until next time, be creative. See ya.